essentially, uh, everything. Well, okay. Once you know fifth dimensional physics, you know how to use its rule set to fix all the world's problems. But language literally can't account for the explanation of that. Like, we need to update language and able to better communicate that, because the people who currently do try to communicate that are seen as insane. Because that's how English makes it, or just language in general, to be honest. That's how language in general makes it sound. Uh, because you have to use like some backwards ass method of like saying and like assuring people, and like in the third dimension that sounds, it comes across as, oh, you just gotta have faith, or just trust me, bro. Like, that's the problem with it. That's why people seem insane. Because, like, literally, you can't explain fifth dimensional physics using third dimensional languages. You have to go back to the drawing board. Um, Basically, seen out to its logical end, logical conclusion, or whatever. Basically, we eventually learn to communicate telepathically, and our pop culture's um, uh, vision of like aliens is us in the future, uh, being fully realized using fifth dimensional physics. Basically, you learn that the fifth dimension is what controls the fate, I guess, of our universe, and that's like that's it. Like, you win the game. Like, you literally know everything. Um, no, death is not real, because in the fourth dimension, time exists all at once, or that's how you can see it. Um, and see, before in the third dimension, I was like, yeah, okay. In the third dimension, I was like, okay, like there must be nothing after death. My reasoning. Well, okay. Um, our consciousness seems to go away as soon as like the brain dies, right? Um, that is true. Um, dead people are no longer alive. That type of thing. Pretty self-explanatory, because we're just observing in the 3D, like, and then it's like, okay, well, and then no one can come back from death and like explain it or anything. So, for all intents and purposes, from the third dimension, it's over. Like, and you can back this up in the third dimension using third dimension logic, and say, oh, well, can you conceive of anything before you were born? No. So, do you think you can conceive anything after you were born? Also, the answer is no, which ticks off Homo sapiens sapiens, to be honest. But Homo logos sapiens understands this pretty intuitively, actually. But the thing is, like, they never really make it out, um, because this is a Homo sapiens sapiens world. Um, we need Homo logos sapiens to develop a language so the two can communicate better. Because actually, if you look into fifth dimensional physics, you learn that basically everyone, the way that the universe is, like its rule set is, it makes everyone right. Like, everyone tends towards the right, or converges on the right answer, no matter what. And it seems paradoxical in the third dimension, because we use third dimensional language to describe the third dimension. So if you try to use third dimensional language or methods to like describe the fifth dimension, it's really hard. And it sounds like you're insane. So like every insane person, see, the thing is, once I became quote unquote insane, once I crossed that threshold in other people's minds, I actually began to understand the universe more. But I lost my ability to like really articulate or explain what I mean without sounding insane. So I was like, holy shit! Like, insane people actually aren't insane. They're just more in tune with their subconscious, which is this the reason why like spiritual and religious stuff seems real is because I mean, using a fourth dimensional rule set, you could conceive of a fifth dimensional rule set that allows for spirituality to be real. Everyone's like kind of the god of their own universe, collapsing their own wave function, and but like it changes. Okay, this is what retards don't realize. Death is not real because using the fourth dimensional rule set, you realize that. Okay, well, all of time is there at once. That's how quantum works. Quantum describes the fourth dimension. It's like the basis for which you could eventually map out the fourth dimension. Like it's physical, like, or I guess not physical, but like metaphysical. Like you can basically map it out and start using that science to conceive of fifth dimensional science. So it's just the universe is analogous to a simulation because that's the best way to explain it in the third dimension. Because we make two-dimension simulations. This thing I'm looking at right now is a screen manipulated by third-dimensional rule sets to impart a two-dimensional world that we can enjoy, I guess. Right? Like, okay, so, and then basically, yeah, death isn't real because you can't, the reason you can't conceive of life before death is because there's no such thing. Well, you never died and you never not lived. You've always existed. It's eternal because like time is eternal, apparently, in the fourth dimension because it's all there at once. Like I mean, that's just how it seems to be. So like basically, it means you're quantumly immortal. In 3D, that just seems like, oh well, I'm gonna try suicide then, and then like you end up killing yourself. What you don't understand is when you do quote unquote die, you just send yourself back to the beginning without any memory of everything or anything, and you literally just try again, navigate the wave function again from scratch. Like it's literally a. But okay, you must ask. Okay, well then, how come? How come I'm not stuck in like a loop then using that logic? Well, fifth dimensional physics or rule sets. I don't know all fifth dimension because that's like the frontier of my knowledge that I'm like looking into right now. But it seems that it allows for. Okay, think of it like a disk. Like in 4D, you can see your life as like it's all right there. It's like all in a circular disk shape or whatever. Yeah, that let's call that an iteration. Yeah. Iterations are from which in the third dimension you perceive as your entire life. Whenever you die and you don't get it right, you go back. You have no memory. It's a new iteration. And basically, all these iterations are just simulations that try to get to the most correct answer and come out of the third dimensional thinking. Because you need to get to the fourth dimension to get to the fifth dimension. The universe seems to be like God, just basically trying to will itself into existence, and it's like using simulations and like taking the most expedient path to willing itself into existence. Because, and then it's going to be doing this forever, because the universe only exists as a false like dream reality out of a paradoxical concept. It sounds insane in the third dimension, like I said, but please, 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 just learn quantum physics and then like try to reapproach the subject, and then, I mean, I don't think I'm like 100% right at this point in time in the third dimension, but I already see how in the fourth dimension I'm right about it eventually. And I'm using fifth dimensional physics to make this a reality. Okay. If you don't, the thing is, like, I don't mind if I'm wrong. that's actually a good thing because then I can be more right in the future. That's just embedded in my methodology. Like, you just tend towards the most accurate answer to oh, and then by the way, I thought this like one article was bullshit about serotonin having no supposed quote unquote link to depression, but no, like in hindsight that makes sense because uh, antidepressants helped me because I don't know, I don't know the exact relation between it because I haven't like collapsed away function in that direction personally. Someone who has, I guess, can like probably tell me. Yeah, I get ahead of myself because I'm not entirely in the third dimension because like I'm trying to manipulate things on higher dimensional scales, and that translates it seeps down into the third dimension as me expressing myself, just like having a brain fart. Oh, okay, yeah. Um, yeah, so serotonin seems to be linked to like okay, let's assume in a hypothetical scenario like there's a relation between the the brain power between your the brain power shared between your prefrontal cortex and subconscious. Let's just say it's like 80-20, like the 80-20 rule. Your prefrontal cortex is your third dimensional like perception module. It's basically an output thingy that interprets explains away the world as it perceives it in the third dimension. It uses the fourth dimensional module of the subconscious to interpret what the subconscious is trying to let it know. But the two have a difficult time communicating because well, evolution is just like a process of you know the whole deal. It's basically God building itself up to basically explain itself. The universe explains it. It's all eternal, whatever. But basically, yeah. Okay. Consciousness seems to lie on the fourth dimension. It seems to be a yeah property or like it's something. It's intrinsic to like the fourth dimension for some reason. I don't know why it is, but it just is because every living thing has it. Even things that don't have brains. It's just intrinsic to the fourth dimension. I don't know why. Okay, and so basically humans have been evolving, and they eventually got to perceive the third dimension. And it was a statistical inevitability that this day would come that we would have variants or mutations that would allow us to understand the fourth dimension better. Ironically, this is schizophrenia, psychopathy, and other autism and other such things that are seen as mental defects by the Homo sapiens sapiens population. See, I believe I'm Homo logo sapiens, or that's what I call it at least in my mind. Because I don't know, for these concepts I have to just like come up with random like terms and stuff because I don't know, I tried looking all this stuff up. I never really heard it talked about before. So anyways, yeah, I think that's enough. I think I've made my point at in this point in time. Basically, I'm working on making a new language so the subvariants can communicate between each other. Because this is the reason why school or shootings or mass shootings are happening, unironically. Because subvariants are, everyone's misunderstanding each other because language sucks. It's literally that. Because in the fifth dimension, you can see how everyone's answers tend towards the same truth. Because that's how it is in the fifth dimension. I don't know why it is, but that's just, okay, it works. It bears out. I can't, I didn't choose to believe that. That's just the way it is. Okay. Basically, to achieve what I have achieved mentally, you have to use like counterfactuals, scientific method, and quantum physics. And then you can come to the same understanding that I have. That's how you know science is real, because it's unwittingly quantumly entangled fourth dimensional methodology that humanity has been using. See, that's why the ancient Greeks knew about like technology and automation and all that crap because this is the philosophy. Philosophy plus science is like the best way to like advance your scientific knowledge or yeah understanding of the world. So that's why like they were able to like guesstimate like the circumference or like the width of their or you know what I'm trying to say, their diameter of the Earth. I guess I don't know. Using mathematics because like they were likely, I don't think they were homologous sapiens sapiens, but they were some other, they weren't sapiens sapiens in like the form, or maybe they were, and then maybe the the lead incident I hypothesize may have had great effects on the trout population. I mean the Homo sapiens sapien population for a certain period of time, which may have led to extreme environmental change, which creates the need or the evolutionary pressures to perpetuate seemingly psychotic people because they live in a higher dimension. And third, okay, basically, what you need to understand is, yeah, do your homework, consider what I've said, and before you pass on judgment. Do your own honest exploration of the the scientific methodology and remember counterfactuals and quantum physics and philosophy. Those are all like those are the only tools you need to come to realization of the fourth dimension and by extension the fifth dimension. And like you can't proceed with fifth dimensional physics unless you are able to accept the fact that there may be sixth dimensional like entities influencing fifth dimensional. That's the frontier of my knowledge. I'm not going to go there yet because it doesn't matter at this point in my life. Yeah, I've served my purpose here right now. Goodbye.